Live from the shed. Yeah. Southern Fried Sound Stage, you know we rock hard. Baby, out here, that's the only way. Bring it on the good times. Southern Fried Sound Stage, if you want to get crazy. Out here, that's the only way. Bring it on the good times. All the good times. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage.
Oh, yes.
Southern Fried Sound Stage.
The summer's coming on.
Southern Fried Sound Stage.
All the sheds will fill up.
Southern Fried Sound
They already are. Great music. Many memories of being under the shed or outside of it. One of my favorite ways to see bands is the amphitheater. And we are glad to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much for dropping in. Not sure if Biscuit Boy will be able to join us back, but we appreciate you stopping by. Talk a little music. Our Southern Fried or Southern Soundstage, we talk about 3 albums from Dave's vault. Yes, albums. I really dug back in the vault for these, way back. We'll talk about a group. We'll try our best to get there, and we'll talk about some of the songs from maybe their biggest album, which in this case will be easy. And I'm hoping that Biscuit Boy can come back, because I picked one thinking specifically he would be here, and if he's not, he's not going to be happy that he missed it. And then we'll look at year 1975. We're going to look at the biggest albums of the year. Don't have time to look at all the albums, but we'll make reference to many of them. It was a tremendous year, 1975. Of yes, I was alive, being older. I was actually 10 years old. 1975. I remember many of these, not all, but I do now. I know them all, but at the time, I certainly wasn't able to have them or allowed. Parents, but my mom loved music, so I was exposed to a lot of music, but sometimes the heavier stuff. No, it was a great year for music. Whereas nowadays we get a few selections that we think are really good. There's a good, beyond what they're promoting, content I think is really coming back around. There's a lot of good bands out there right now, a lot of good bands. So we'll start off with, and again, the vault I have a lot of musical taste. So even though the opening sounds like that, I only like rock, which I do like that. And I do show a lot of that. I've showed a lot of bands on here for as many shows as we've had. And one of these artists, I think I showed one of his before, but 2 of these I have not. So, and whereas some of them I remember very well, where I got it and a little bit about it, some of these These are actually are all mine. One of them might have been shared by my mom, believe it or not. We'll have to remember, and I'm going to show the sleeve. I like to show, and we just had album day. We just had album day. I love that. I love that we have, albums to view again. Some people think CD's the best. Some people think digital, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I miss the albums, and I like that we're kind of coming back to that. Sometimes you get a greatest hits package, and this was one that I had. I was a big fan of this artist. He was a rocker before he became country. And I won't say that I liked every song he ever did, but I did like a lot of them. Very talented individual. And this one is filled with many that I like. Some of them, not so much, but many of these I do. The great Kenny Rogers. And this album was released. Let me get out of the shine here of the lights. 1980. 1980. I would have been 15, and I don't remember buying it. It may have been a part. It could have even been a part of one of those Columbia record collection things. I don't remember. Time does not allow me to remember where I got that at. It could have even been. This particular one is not my wife. I have some of my wife's dad's albums we rescued. This is not because he put his John Hancock on them, the initials, and this doesn't. So I bought it somewhere along the line, and here's the back of it. I love albums because you just get so much more room for stuff. They really put a lot of thought into stuff like this. Most of the time, there you see all the songs listed. The insert. Sometimes they got really lazy with the insert. Being a greatest hits package, you could imagine. But so what they did on this, which was pretty cool, they kind of gave you the albums, many of the albums that they had put out for him. So you see Dottie West and some there that I recognize, some I don't. And the back, they put a little bit about all the songs, who arranged it, who the engineer was, where it was recorded at, and they were all over the place. I mean, most of it was Nashville, but there were some in Louisiana and stuff. So anyway, the back of it shows a stage shot with over here all the songs that's on here. The insert looks nice. Like I said, it's been a little dusty because I've had this one in the vault for quite a while. But I want to talk about the songs real quick on this. Then we'll move to the next one, which looks really ragged. I put this one through the ringer. But the Gambler I did enjoy. You can see that there at the top. The Gambler, and of course Lucille. All these were big hits for him. Ruby, Coward of the County, She Believes in Me, You Decorated My Life. Some that I'm not as up on or didn't care for as much. Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer. It was okay. Love the World Away. No, Every Time Two Fools Collide. Reuben James. Long Arm the Law. Didn't care for those as much. Lady obviously was covered by the Commodores as well and others. That I like that. So I like a lot of his hits. And of course, there's some here. There's songs missing that wasn't in this collection that came along later. Duets with other artists like Dolly Parton, Islands in the Stream, and stuff like that, because they came along later. And of course, the Commodores and Lionel Richie are mentioned because of the song "Lady," which a lot of times country artists would, and they continue to do. They will take something that's pop or rock, or even heavier sometimes, and they will redo those. Sometimes it goes the other way. They take something that's country or rock and take it really heavy. You see metal artists do that. And sometimes it turns out, sometimes it does not. That's in Dave's vault. This one, it has been put through the ringer. It is rough, but this is one that was passed back and forth between me and my friend. It's got tears. It's still together. And it came out in a time when I really liked some of the music. I don't even have the sleeve in this one. I don't know what I did with it. But the band itself does not like this time frame, and they do not like this album because of the singer on it, and they just didn't want to do it. But I like the album. It sticks, and it's Paradise Theater. And you can see it's rough. It's been in the vault for a long time. But when you look at and here's the inside, this thing folds out. Look at them hairdos. I mean, it goes back away. I mean, Dynasty Young. Oh my gosh. That's a little short, almost a Beatlesque kind of haircut with Tommy there. My gosh. And then what I like in some of these, and I got to be careful with this because it's in such rough shape, is a lot of time with albums on the insert, but this one you get the inside, they give you the words. And, it's important, I think, because some people, they don't understand the word they're saying, and we get all these misses. But I was a big fan of, Too Much Time on My Hands, um, The Best of Times, Lonely People, Snowblind, and AD 19. I would listen to the album all the way through. I was a big fan. Obviously, the band cannot stand Dynasty Young now. They look back on that time frame as a horrible experience for them. I'm not here to knock Dynasty Young. I like a lot of his songs with Sticks and outside of Sticks, but it just didn't. It didn't work for them. They also, and they may have liked this a little bit more than Mr. Roboto, but they didn't like a lot of that. So that's from Dave's Vault. I really, I'm getting dust on me from where it's been up in the vault. It literally is in the vault. I haven't pulled that out in a while. This is this one's interesting to me, and I wish that I remember. I think I seem like I remember buying it, and was a fan of the artist. And this particular album, we'll try to. It has been around for a bit as well. And to go back in time a little bit, my mom was a huge Elvis fan. It was her favorite artist. She grew up in she was a teenager in the 50s, got married in 61. My parents had me in 65. So she grew up with all those. She loved pop. She introduced me to a lot of stuff. I've mentioned this before. Motown, country. She loved pop, though. Pop was probably where she resided the most. And she loved Elvis. Absolutely loved. I talked about the big tapestry on the wall. She never got to see him live. I hate that for my mom. I wish she'd had that experience. My mom's life had her young life had a lot of tragedy. But I remember, going to this occurred, and this is the Elvis. And I'm going to break it down a little bit. The Aloha from Hawaii via satellite. It was a big deal. They talked about beaming in from satellite, and that was 1973, I believe. I don't know when this was released. It may have been the same year. I don't see the year on it. I may be able to find it, but my mom asked my dad if it was okay if I stayed up and watched it. She wanted me to be able to watch it with her. There's only 2 times my dad ever let me violate the 9 p.m. curfew. That was for this because my mom begged, and I had asked to sit up and watch the TV showing of the Poseidon Adventure, the original, and he let me do that. I don't think he was too keen on either of them, but my dad was very strict about a lot of those things, 9 p.m. Except for weekends, there was no restriction. I could stay up all night if I wanted to, as long as I behaved and didn't make a lot of noise. I did it many times. Kids, you're full of energy, and it's kind of fun to sit up all night. But 9 p.m. was school night, and so this is one of them. You can see the insert here. It has the little cutout here, and him with the Hawaiian girls, and the back kind of has that satellite-ish kind of thing with space and some of the, just sayings about Elvis in different languages and stuff. This was a big deal. Recorded live at the Honolulu International Center, January 14th, 1973, 12:30 a.m. Includes 8 songs never before recorded by Elvis, is what it says on the back. Now, when you get inside of it, pretty cool. I haven't seen one just like this before, but it points all around the world. Again, going back to that sayings in different languages and stuff, and of course, it's a double album. On the insert, which we pulled out, which showed some of that. In the back, you get some shots from the show, and these are probably in pristine. Mostly, we listen to them a lot. My mom would have really took care of this, so not bad. So that was pretty cool. Let me see if this other one has. It's been so long, I don't even think it had. It was just, if there ever was one, I don't have it now. But this brings back a lot of memories for me. 2 record set. There's a lot of songs on here, and I'm trying to see if on the insert unfortunately does not. Um, Actually, it has a small. Um, well, actually, one of the because they added to it, they put a Saturday evening performance. I didn't even realize this before. June 10th, 1972, at Madison Square Garden, and that's the whole other album that has a lot of other songs on it. So it's a really nice collection. Not in greatest of shape or anything. We bought albums. We weren't thinking about that. We were thinking about listening to them. And so I remember the show well. They play clips from it all the time still of Elvis in Hawaii, Aloha from Hawaii, and the beaming of this around the world. It was like the first time maybe that had ever really happened or something. We started thinking out beyond our planet or whatever. But pretty cool. And this would be kept around. One, I'm an Elvis fan too, and if nothing else, for my mom, no matter what shape it's in, it brings back a lot of great memories. And I don't like every song that really, even the ones I like a whole lot. There's a song or two I don't care for. I'm not one of those just because I'm a fan that I have to like every song. Sometimes they miss, just not something I'm really interested in. So that's the three albums from Dave's Vault. And we do that each time we have the show. And Paul may bring some as well. I'm still getting stuff off of me with us. They literally are in the vault. Um, I wanted to look at the 1975 year. What a monster year, and go through some of these albums that are highlighted here. And we're looking at total album sales, and this is amazing. Now today, you can't sell albums. You sell downloads, singles, whatever. I mean, there are people that buy them, and I still buy albums. I bought albums of people that's been on the show. There's a young country artist I'm trying to get on right now, and I told her I'd buy her album. Anyway, I'd like to hear it. It sounds like she's very talented, and trying to get her on the show. The number one album, and it is by a lot, according to this site, Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here" for it ranks number 14 in the 70s. Overall, number 59. It sold 23 million albums. 23. That's to date, 23. I'm sure right now it's just flat 23 million. It blows away anything else that's out there. It's not even close. And the funny thing is, I never listen. I mean, the station I listen to, I don't remember them playing Pink Floyd. If it did, I don't remember. Maybe it was a cut or two because we were, listening to the stations we had in town. And some of those were played on some. We didn't even have stations in town that played some of it, to be honest, for a long time. But there were some that maybe smaller that did. It wasn't on the dial. We had favorites. Parents changed the channel, But Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd, 23 million, 1975. Amazing. Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin, over 9 million. Over 9 million. Which it's was ranked 43 in. It's not their greatest album, but it's a lot of good stuff on there. The best of the best had been out, but they still had some good things, and riding off of the coattails of all they had done and still touring like crazy. Over 9 million. Toys in the Attic, I love that album. I have Physical Graffiti somewhere. I don't know if I had it on an album, but I know I had it on CD. I'm almost certain. Toys in the Attic definitely had the box set for Aerosmith. I had this album or CD. I don't know if I had the album. I had the CD. Over 9 million as well. I didn't get this one till late. Well, all these were later because I was a kid and wasn't allowed to have those. But Alive by Kiss, 9 million flat. And of course, so successful they came out with Alive 2, Alive 3. Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, over almost 8 million. Definitely a big album. And what's funny about this, you start thinking of some of these bands and albums and where they rank. It's pretty amazing. And of course, this was the album before Rumors, but Fleetwood Mac album with the new lineup. Almost 7.5 million, which is amazing. Is that they did this before Rumors and then topped that. Amazing. The America's Greatest Hits have sold over 7 million albums from 1975. Chicago's Greatest Hits sold almost 6.9 million. Queen, A Night at the Opera, 6 million flat. Another album that a lot of people love. Cat Stevens, Greatest Hits, of course, Yusuf Islam, almost 5.5 million. ABBA, Greatest Hits, a lot of Greatest Hits released. And that's why record companies got into it. They could make, and still do it, make all that money, 4.7 plus million. The Eagles, One of These Nights, 4.6, 12th on the list for the year. Amazing. Wings and Paul McCartney, or should that be Paul McCartney and Wings? Venus and Mars, 4 million. The Best of Carly Simon. I like a lot of Carly Simon songs, not everything. 3.2 million in 1975. And then the band we're going to look at, if should have time here, we'll have to finish it up next time. Bad Company, Straight Shooter, almost 3.2 million. And me and Paul were talking in the previous show. Yes, Elton John was huge around this time. It was his heyday, but Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, 3.1 million. These are amazing numbers. Just think of all those album sales and the tours they did. Our first kind of different kind of music, Statler Brothers, The Best Of, over 3 million. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Gratitude, over 3 million. Earth, Wind, and Fire again, That's the Way of the World, also in their heyday, 3 million. Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks, just under 3 million. Al Green's Greatest Hits, 2.8 million. Gordon Lightfoot, I like some Gordon Lightfoot, 2.2. Another Best of ABBA. That's so many good songs they could do too. 2.2. Helen Reddy, Greatest Hits. I didn't know she had enough to have Greatest Hits. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. I did like some of her stuff, but I didn't, honestly. You'd have to be a Helen Reddy fan. 2.2. John Denver Wind Song, 2.1 million. Black Sabbath, still with Ozzy. We sold our soul for rock and roll, 2.1 million. Barry Manilow, a little over 2 as well. Elvis Presley, Pure Gold, a little over 2. John Denver, Rocky Mountain Christmas, even a Christmas album, got over 2 million. Ted Nugent, a little over 2 million. Had this album, The Redheaded Stranger, and it was album, and it went with my friend who, obviously, I've told the story. He was murdered, and all the albums that we shared back and forth. Whatever happened to that side, they're gone. Whatever I had. So we kind of gained and lost on each side. They got rid of it. Somebody did over time, I guess. I never seen them again. Redheaded Stranger, Willie Nelson, a little over 2. Bob Seger, Beautiful Loser, 2 million. Gary Wright, Dreamweaver. I like some Gary Wright, 2 million. The Isley Brothers, Jefferson Starship, all clocking in around 2. Seals and Crofts, Greatest Hits. I like some Seals and Crofts, 2 million. Let me bounce around a little bit here. John Denver, An Evening with John Denver, sold 1.6. ABBA sold 1.5. Imagine all the album sales just that 1 year for ABBA. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, 1.4 million in 1975. And Rod Stewart, Atlantic Crossing, 1.3. Even Jethro Tull was still clocking in at 1.3 for their Best of Jethro Tull. Elton again, Rock of the Westies, 1.2. Heart, Dreamboat Annie, big album. Had this one, 1.2. Bob Marley, 1.1. Who else here? The Who, By the Numbers, 1.1. A little over that. John Lennon, Shade Fish, 1.1. Fly By Night by Rush. I think I had this one on. It was an album. I don't think it could have been. My best friend may have had that one. That brings back. I'm almost certain I had it on CD, but we may have had that by album in '75. I mean, it wasn't. I would have had CD. I don't even think it would have had cassette. It could have been album. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, still over 1 million. Chicago 8, over 1 million. Steely Dan, Katie Lied, over 1 million. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog, we had that one. That one got played a lot in the listening times for me and my best friend Robert. Hodges, a little over 1 million. Dan Fogelberg, 1 million. Double Dynamite, Presley, 1 million. Foghat, Fool for the City, yes, 1 million. And then it starts dropping off. Linda Ronstadt clocks in at 1 million. Leonard Skinner's Nothing Fancy was 1 million. boy, it's a shame what happened. I mean, just think of where they were headed and where they'd already were. Nothing against what they're doing now and all the years they've been playing the remnants and not even much of a remnant anymore. But hey, you know what? They're still taking the songs out there. I'm not going to criticize. Richard Pryor had a million seller, and we may have had that. We had a couple of Richard Pryor albums and Red Fox. We had one of his. Boy, if my parents knew, I'd listen to that. That was a rough. The OJ's a million. The Rolling Stones, Made in the Shade, 1 million. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, just under 1 million at 895,000, but that's a cult classic. Olivia Newton-John before she really hit her stride. Almost 900,000. Have You Ever Been Mellow? I didn't have that album, but I was a Olivia Newton-John fan. Tommy soundtrack, The Who, 750,000. There's some Paul Simon, Olivia Newton-John, another one. Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, main chorus. Boy, they were fixing to explode. I mean, it all happened around that time that it started for them. They had made some hits, but they really took off around that time. David Bowie, Young Americans, 655,000. Who else? AC/DC, TNT, 630. America, Bob Dylan again. Bachman Turner Overdrive had some big sellers. Styx Equinox. I didn't have that album, 600,000. ZZ Top Fandango. I don't know if we ever had that or not. I think it was the album after this that we had when we started our ZZ Top collection. The Doobie Brothers. Some nice sales there. Another Black Sabbath, Glenn Campbell, Rhinestone Cowboy, 560,000. So anyway, you kind of see that. And that's getting down near the 100 mark. Johnny Mathis clocks in at 100. Feelings, 560,000. So, but again, look at the heavy hitters that was in the top part of that. I mean, it went really deep, and there was a lot of stuff down there that I really liked. And I think that's pretty amazing year for music. I'm a big fan of the songs in the 70s. I grew up, obviously, as a little kid in the 60s. I liked some things in the 60s and 50s. But, that kind of, a lot of the early stuff that I really listened to was 1970s. And then by the end of the year, I was, getting into lots of things. Van Halen and, AC/DC and stuff like that. And then was a teenager, the end of the 70s going into the 80s. And then around 87 was when I started going to concerts and went to a lot of them. So just a little look-see there of some of those things. Thank y'all for joining in. I hope you're getting something out. If you weren't alive then, at least you're getting a little memory. Now, the group I wanted to highlight, and it's one of the greatest groups, and obviously one of the greatest albums. It's Bad Company, and I hate that Biscuit Boy didn't make it in because he kept asking me, when am I doing Bad Company? Formed in London in 1973, so right in that era we're talking about. And, of course, the great Paul Rodgers. Wow. Drummer Simon Kirke, Mick Ralphs, and, of course, Boz Burrell, the bassist. What a powerhouse group. And even later, as members changed, I like some of the stuff in the 90s that they did, early 90s. But some of these songs, their first three albums, Bad Company in 74. How do you top that? Straight Shooter 75 and Run with the Pack 76. They all reached the top 5 in the album charts in both UK and the US. And you think of some of their singles, like Bad Company. I mean, it's the quintessential rock song. I mean, the description, it just has that groove, it has that sound. Straight Shooter, Can't Get Enough, Feel Like Making Love, Shooting Star, Burning Sky. The dust off that album's getting me. Rock and Roll Fantasy. So you get some of these songs: 74, Can't Get Enough; 75, Feel Like Making Love; 75, Shooting Star; 77, Burning Sky; and 79, Rock and Roll Fantasy. They have sold over 20 million certified albums in the U.S. and 40 million worldwide. And really, how much more could they have done? And I know they reinvented themselves, and still, I think, are out. Some remnants of some of the members have been in there still tour, I think, because they have a lot of past members, a lot of them. Not as many as some bands, but a lot. But they owned uh, the mid to late 70s. They owned that time frame. With everything else going on, there was a huge fan base for this on both sides of the ocean. And it still resonates. When you listen to classic rock radio, Bad Company's all over it. I mean, they are, I mean, you know, their time in history is set and will never be changed. They did enter the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2025. That was far, far past due. And you know, in some of the, I like the Firm. You know, they kind of spun off, and some members went in the Firm. King Crimson, Mott the Hoople, were some of the people in playing these different bands. Paul Rogers, Queen, even. I mean, you know, that's what happens a lot. I mean, look at Eric Clapton, how many different bands he's worked with and solo. I did get to see Bad Company, but not in the 70s. I saw them in Atlanta, GA at the Lakewood Amphitheater, which was one of my favorite places. And that's what it was called back then. They've got a corporate name now. It was one of my favorite places to see music in the summertime. And I saw them. Oh, he is going to jump in. It's a perfect time, Biscuit Boy, when he finally gets on screen. I saw them at the amphitheater in Atlanta. And, you know, they played all the hits, and, you know, it was a lot of different members. But I was glad that I got to see some version of them. I think Biscuit Boy is frozen or something. I'm not sure. Maybe he reboot or come out and go back in. So usually he's in by now, but it's not like, yeah, I think that's what he's doing. So, so when I saw them, it was around 93 because I remember because there was baseball playoffs going on between Toronto Blue Jays and the Atlanta Braves. I think that was 93. Maybe it was 91. I can't remember. It was one of those. Might have been 91. I think it was 93. But anyway, the lead singer that was running them now was from Canada. And
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. So glad to have you
have
back.
no earthly what was going on.
Every once in a while, it's electronics, man. So been covering music, and I thought he's going to miss it the very night that I covered Bad Company.
Dude, I want to tell you what, I felt like such a moron because I did not realize that Bad Company, that there was a dude that was thrown in there right at the end in the middle, and I didn't recognize the change in from Paul Rogers. That's how goofy I feel.
Well, I mean, he did a great job. You know, I mean,
he did. I listen to Bad Company all the time. I can tell a distinct difference now that I know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the fellow's name, but he sang some really good songs.
Well, there were some songs in the, you know, early 90s that were like Holy Water is one that I remember, and it's still played on rock radio. And I knew you were a big fan of this band. I was a big fan of this band, and some of the, I mean, that's our youth, man. That we were teenagers.
Yeah.
When they hit, I mean, we were 10 years old or 9 years old when they really got going in 74. But that last part of the 70s, man, they owned a lot of hits, man, and a lot of people
they were filling arenas.
And you know, like, and you'll remember what I'm talking about when you went to like a bowling alley or something. They were playing music. I mean, Bad Company would be one of the groups that be played, like a lot of classic artists. But remember that little
Lover Boy.
Well, yeah, but that ride at Lake Winnie that would always play the rock. Bad Company was always played in that mix, man.
Yeah,
like Boston. Yeah. There's some other bands. When you think about that time frame and all the monster albums that were coming out, but Bad Company just owned that. Recently, within the last few years, it's been a few years now, there was a metal group that covered one of their songs. I didn't care for it. I just didn't care. Sometimes remakes are not good. Some people might have liked it. I just didn't like the heavier.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I heard a remix of Rocky Raccoon. Trying to figure out how to do this. David, did I lose you?
I'm still here. Somehow I got covered up. I don't know how. Just keep talking.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's
Okay.
crazy.
You are center stage.
I did something, brother. I don't know what I did. I was trying to make my picture big.
I think I know what you did, but anyway, go on with your story, and I'll fix it in a second.
Well, I don't even remember what the story was now. What were we talking about? Jog my memory for me. You know, I've had several. I've had at least 30 concussions. There you are. I can't hear you now, though.
It muted me when
There you go.
I muted for a second. You selected one screen, one camera, so
I did what?
one camera view.
Oh wow!
We were there stacked. We were there on the
I have
screen.
no earthly how I did it, but
It's a little on phone. It's a little harder to see those buttons.
What were we talking about?
Well, Bad Company, but when we were at Lakewood, you remember that I don't remember what that ride was called, but they always played those classic hits, and Bad Company was in there.
Yeah, it's the one that went forward and then they went backwards and it went up a hill and around in a circle.
Yeah. A lot of the groups that I liked from that time frame, I think about being there either waiting to get on or on the thing. And that was a lot of fun. I think they still have that thing. I don't remember what it's called now.
When we do our summer episode at Lake Winnie, right before, we'll do everything. And then right at the end, we're renting a boat and I'm getting on the chairlift and I'm going to drop in on you.
That sounds good.
I think it'd be hilarious.
I was telling Jeremy something. He's looking for something in the studio.
It's all good. Yeah, I think that would be hilarious to get it caught on film or on tape. Well, not tape, but digital, caught on whatever.
That would be cool. We should go there and do that memory from that ride. They still play. I don't know what they play nowadays. There's no telling.
I hope it's not gangster rap or anything like that.
It might be, man. It might be.
Can't ever tell. Listen, brother, I'm going to get back in here and spend some quality time with my beautiful wife. And love you. Hope everything goes well for the rest of the evening. If you need me, you know where I am at. And until then,
the
peace.
Wolf knows.
And the wolf does know always. And always keep ascending. Don't ever forget that.
Always keep ascending. Paul and associates can help you with your financial needs. Save that money. Don't let others get a hold of it,
That's right.
See you, man.
See you, brother.
So the great Paul Rogers, classic era, 1973 to 82. And I always find, this British invasion that has occurred from so many bands. And it's amazing. There's a lot of people that didn't even know they were from Britain. They didn't know it because the music comes across as so fitting for that time frame. A lot of people never knew that. They just enjoy the songs. They don't know much about it. And they don't know. Now, people that study music and follow groups, they would. But a lot of people would never know that. And, then 86 to 94, Brian Howe. And again, 88's Dangerous Age. I remember that one very well. The song No Smoke Without a Fire was definitely, they played that one. Holy Water is one that I remember a lot. And like I said, when I saw them, it was a really good show. I really liked it. Um, so the tour in 1991 was supported by Damn Yankees. Now I saw Damn Yankees, but not with them. So I'm thinking this was when I saw them was a little bit after that. 92 maybe it was 92. Here Comes Trouble. So they're around that time is when I saw them. I don't remember who opened for them at Lakewood. I just can't remember. I have to go back and look at it because really I was there to see them. And so, Paul Rogers came back. They toured. They didn't tour. 98 to 2008, and various reunions up until 23. And unfortunately, some people have died that was in the band. They're getting older, like all of us. And Brian Howe died on my birthday in 2020, age 66. And we've seen some people pass. Ralph's died in last year, sadly, from the stroke. He was 81. Amazing. You forget how long these folks have been around, but what a great, what a great band. And like I said, their legendary status is entrenched forever in the fans and future fans that will discover this band. And the music is great. It's classic. It's never going away. And these young groups that are coming up, and there's many of those young guys, they'll go back and listen to some of the stuff, or their parents listen to it, or their grandparents, they hear it in the car, and they hear the influence of it, and they go back and listen to it and love it. There's a lot of young people. In fact, some of the super groups of the 70s, 80s, even 60s, late 60s, have said they've seen younger crowds coming out. And that's what's happening. These young people are hearing their grandparents play it or whatever, and they're coming out and they're seeing a resurgence of a lot of people getting into these bands, and album sales are picking up. And so when they go on tour, it's not just the 50s, 60s and older guys and gals. There is that, because they realize this is one of the times that if I don't see them now, I'm never going to see them again. So, and I realize there's, people think, should Guns N' Roses still be on stage? Should the Rolling Stones? Should, like a Guns N' Roses with Axl and his voice, Motley Crue with Vince Neil and his voice, David Lee Roth and his problems, and the list goes on and on and on. And now I'm hearing that Michael Sweet has trouble with his voice. He's got some stuff going on, still going, but he's got some things going on he's trying to get help with. It happens. You get older, and it happens. But you still, if you want to see them, some of them are doing a really good job. And there's some that are hoping there'll be a final tour for them after the final. But, there's people always going to want that. At some point, it's going to stop. Either just inability, like, even the band maybe like Twisted Sister goes on, but, lead singer says can't do it no more. That's going to happen. And then you don't really have what you have anymore. But these young bands are going to be influenced by them, and those influences will be heard in their music for generations to come. And Bad Company is one of those. And to me, the song Bad Company is one of the best all-time songs in rock. It ranks as up there as, to me, Stairway to Heaven for me. It is a classic song. It just hits just right. It has the right groove, the right edge to it. And it will always be a favorite that's played on radio. And so anyway, that's the show tonight. We got to get out of here. Appreciate you being here. I'm glad Biscuit Boy could at least stop in and say a few words, because I know he loves Bad Company. Come see us. We are live each week, Dave's Vault. The next time, and we'll look at a new artist. We'll look at, and we may back up. I've invited some people to come in, fans, to talk about some groups that they like, that we have similar interests. So sometimes we'll go back and do a special. If you'd like to come on stage with me, so to speak, and talk about your favorite band, then let us know. So a little short tonight because I didn't go on to about 15 after, but got some things I got to do. I'm glad to get this in there. And a lot of those albums that I mentioned, I've had or have either on CD, cassette, or the album itself. Many of those on the year 1975, I have on the album. They're in the vault. So glad records can make a comeback and are continue to do that. They get the different colored disc and all that stuff. And I think that's cool. And, everything just doesn't sound the same from a digital download. It just does not. Just like CDs didn't, or cassettes, or 8 tracks. the album is the best. And I think most people would agree that that's the memory of that. Some people, they don't even have that to be able to, they got to where they didn't even make them. Now they're making them again. People are buying them. And that's good that market's coming back. And appreciate you stopping in. Thanks for your support of the Southern Patriots podcast and Wolf Nation. If I don't see you again tonight, I'll see you in the morning for the Cornbread Man Morning Show. We try to go live right around 6 a.m. And unless something goes crazy, I will be here. As you know, my wife has some bad health, and sometimes that's just sometimes in the middle of the night I'm just wore out. I can't get up as early as I need to, but I'm going to try to be on each day this week. Take care. Blessings to you. And keep on listening to the great music that's out there. There's so much. We salute you. We'll start that over. Because I caught it at the end.
Live from the shed. If you want to get